Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's IdeaStream webinar. I'm Ashley Grigg, Director of Marketing and Communications for the High Point Market Authority. We're thrilled to have you here today, and we have a great lineup. We have awesome panelists. They were backstage chatting and ready to go. Really excited to discuss today's topic, Design Beyond the Walls. So we're going to get to that pretty quickly, but before I do, let me just thank our partner, House Beautiful, for joining us here today and working with us on this session, and also just a few housekeeping items before we get started. We are recording this session, and it does offer you one IDCEC accredited CEU. So if you're looking for that, and you're attending it live, then we will be sharing your information with IDCEC, and we'll get you your certificate so that you can get those CEU credits. Also, if you have any questions during the session, be sure to put that in the Q&A tab as opposed to the chat, and we'll be getting back to those at the end of the session. So make sure you're adding those in there. Also, one note, if you haven't marked your calendar already and are ready to travel here to North Carolina, we do have spring markets coming up in June 5th through the 9th. Of course, it's normally in April. It would have normally started next week. COVID changes everything. It's starting in June this time. But if you can't make it in June, we certainly hope that you can join us October 16th through the 20th for fall market. Before we get to our speakers, let me just share a quick video from our partner, House Beautiful. Awesome, fun little video. Thanks, House Beautiful, again for being our partner on that. You can see our great lineup here today of these speakers. Of course, across the bottom, I have all of their Instagram channels, so make sure you're following them on Instagram. And real quick, let me intro our moderator for today, Carisha Swanson of House Beautiful, and then she will intro our speakers and we'll get started. But I hope you all know Carisha is the market director for House Beautiful's print and digital properties, focusing her attention now solely on House Beautiful after having previously served on the editorial teams for other Hearst titles, Veranda and Elle Decor. She's also a new-ish resident to North Carolina. We're happy to have you here in the state. And a little fun fact for you, according to the housebeautiful.com website, she describes her personal design style as lots of pattern, color, and art on every surface, which I thought was perfect for today's topic, outdoor rooms. So Carisha, take it away. It's all yours.
Thanks so much, Ashley. And thank you to the High Point Market Authority for inviting us all here. Yes, I am a North Carolina now native, and I am proud to be so. So super excited to be down here, especially in the spring when the weather is beautiful. So at House Beautiful, our goal is to lead the field in discovering the next generation of designers. House Beautiful honors emerging talent with our expansive Next Wave network. This annual list of on-the-rise industry talents who are creating, inspiring, and invigorating spaces across the country is proof that some of the best interiors are yet to come. These three designers are alumni of the Next Wave and have been prominently featured in House Beautiful and will continue to be. And I am thrilled to introduce them to you right now. First, and I'll have them wave even though their names are there, Linda Hayslett. She comes from a strong fashion and entertainment background. Her passion and creativity led her to go back to school and get a degree for interior design at FIDM. After graduating, she became interested in construction and planning, and now infuses her knowledge of construction with design, creating spaces that are architecturally interesting, but also warm. Linda uniquely makes the client's projects not only aesthetically pleasing, but strong and beautiful. Thank you for that. Jean Liu. Wave Jean. Jean draws inspiration from the world of fashion and her travels. She has been known to wander the globe like a gypsy from time to time, which I know she's missing right now. I know I'm missing it right now. She considers her style varied but edited, modern but warm, sometimes verging on formal, but always with a sense of humor. Jean holds degrees from Georgetown and Harvard in subjects that are completely unrelated to design, which Jean, I hope you know, you and I are the same this way. I'm an American Studies major. I feel like I can infuse that into this, but not really. And finally, Stephanie Sabbe. After graduating from the University of Tennessee's interior design program, Stephanie began her career in Nashville, one of our last locations, or 2 years ago, we did a project out there. In 2009, she relocated to Boston, where she worked on everything from historic brownstones to cedar-clad capes. Since moving home to Nashville, she continues to bring that level of historic detail, charm, and originality into every project. Ladies, thank you all for being here. And I'm so proud to have a next wave group on this line. So I want to remind the audience that at the end, there will be a Q&A. Please tell us if the question is directed to any of the panelists. Otherwise, I'll just throw it out there to everyone. So as a reminder, our panel today is making the most of your indoor-outdoor oasis, which I think we all know we're home, but really being able to be outdoors and live outdoors. It's one of the reasons I left my little apartment in the Northeast and moved to North Carolina, because I needed some green space. I needed some outdoor space. So I'll throw this first to Jean. How have the needs of your clients changed in relation to indoor-outdoor living, not just now, but even throughout the last decade or even the last few years? It just feels like this is a thing that felt like a trend, but now is the way we live.
Sure. Thank you for that, Carisha. I would say one of the things that we're noticing the most with our clients, and especially on new project jobs, is, we never used to talk about outdoor spaces until everything else had kind of been selected or finalized. And oftentimes the budget that was remaining, what little was left, was what we used to furnish a client's outdoor space. And I would say that that has completely done a 180, especially in the last year. We are now talking about the outdoor spaces, from programming to furniture to lighting, from the very beginning. And I think we're seeing, obviously, the result of living in a pandemic this last year. It's almost what every client right now wants to be talking about is, how do I spruce up or improve our outdoor areas?
Yeah, and I saw some nodding from, I don't know where everybody is on the camera. So on my screen, Stephanie and Linda are below. So Stephanie, it seems like you agree with this. And I know, again, regionally, you're in a different area, but you've, again, worked in Boston. Have you seen these changes too?
Yes, I have. There's a place in Tennessee called Blackberry Farm that's a really popular vacation spot. And I think at least 50% of my projects right now, the clients have come and said, I just want it to be like Blackberry. Like, I want to be inside, but I want to be outside too.
That's 100% right, because that's all where we want to be. And Linda, as our California girl, that, indoor outdoor living is kind of the thing, right? That is, whenever I go to California and I go to people's homes, I'm always so delighted by just kind of the openness to their outdoor areas. Has it changed at all in California? Is it still kind of the same?
I mean, it's definitely still the same. It's definitely more exploded during the pandemic. Obviously, the outdoor has become more important, so everyone is definitely focused on it. I've gone on, definitely a couple of new clients who already are like, we want to put all the money to the outdoor because they want to include that in their home as basically a room. And right. So, why not spruce it up and make it happen? But it's definitely exploded. But in California, it's almost sunny almost 356 days of the year. So the outdoor has always been important, and it's been a big season, especially with the pandemic, to make it happen.
Linda, you say that, and I was literally in California last month filming something, and it was pouring on the single day that I had to be. I was shooting inside. I had to go outside and finish shooting, and I was like, the day before it was sunny, the day after it was sunny, the day I was there, it was pouring rain. But yes, every day that Carisha's in California, rain.
Oh my gosh. Like hit maybe like the 14 days that rain in California, like that's it.
That's it. Even my friends out there were making fun of me. So, when you're thinking about, especially, I'll stay with you, Linda, when you're thinking about kind of how you approach that design that makes both spaces feel connected, your interior to your exterior. What kind of connectivity are you looking for, or are your clients looking for?
Well, the first thing that they're looking for is basically either a panoramic window or door to open to the outside. So then that way they can have the whole thing open, wide open, so they can have a clear shot into their home. And then they can hang inside or outside. They can either entertain at the same time, or if they want to walk outside or just be inside, you know, just have a flow. And so that's the first thing I probably tackle with clients, to see how the opening would be to bring in the outdoors to the inside. And then once we tackle that, then we go through how they want to space out the outside. And basically I tackle it like an interior with zones and or spaces and furniture, and then go through electrical, lighting, and that sort of thing.
And I definitely want to come back to that moment, but I have to say, you know, California is unique in that when you're there, you don't have the critters that we necessarily have down south when we're thinking about this indoor outdoor lifestyle. So, you know, Stephanie, you're in Nashville. Again, I did a project down there in the middle of the summer, a very new build, and everything was open because it wasn't quite done yet. And, you know, there's a different kind of, you need to think differently about closure.
Right. We love our screen porches in the South for a reason. So I have seen, you know, screen porches used to accommodate like a small seating area with a small dining area. And now it's like, we would like the screen porch to be the same size as half of our house because we want to be out there. So yeah, we definitely have a different climate. But anyway, I love a good Southern screen porch. So it's been fun to explore the outside more.
And are you finding the same thing in Texas, Jean? Or because it kind of depends on where you are in Texas. And of course,
Yes.
I was clear that all of you have clients all over the country, but just where you're based, I know there's a difference in kind of the way people live.
Definitely. I mean, we battle mosquitoes pretty early and pretty fiercely. So we definitely now, going to Linda's point, you know, panoramic views or full floor to ceiling height windows are a big thing. So in addition to trying to incorporate those into a seamless indoor and outdoor space, we're also adding floor to ceiling bug screens now to most of these larger projects. And I know it sounds like most clients are balking because it's a bigger line item in construction than one would expect. But I think they ultimately recognize it's going to make living outdoors that much more enjoyable.
Well, right. I mean, yeah. And again, it is about, if you're thinking of this indoor outdoor lifestyle as truly being reflective of the way you want to live in your home, you don't live in your home part of the time. You want to be able to enjoy all parts of it all year long. And so the things that you guys are saying are about being able to do that. You know, Linda, before you started to talk about kind of the zones for spaces. And I don't know if that's something you're introducing to your clients or they are asking for, but are there specific things that they come to you and they say, I need this kind of space in my outdoor area?
You know, I normally come to them with the zones, but the things that they do come to me with is obviously having a great barbecue area, which is very important. So that's like the kitchen, how I see it as the eating area. And then also an area and space where it makes sense for their kids to have fun or play, basically like a game area. And then also a lot of clients also have pets, especially dogs. So they wanted to also be dog friendly. And then to keep in mind, basically when, you know, the parents want to have adult time with entertaining with friends, how that's going to play out if they have a separate area for kids and that sort of thing. So, you know, we go through all that and I make sure that that's out there. So then that way, you know, it's, you know, they can do anything that they want out there. And that way they don't have to worry like, that's just a kid zone. No, it's for everyone, anytime, and it can change very easily.
Linda, you made the mistake of saying a barbecue zone. You're in California. I don't really think you guys know what barbecue is. I feel like Jean and Stephanie are the only ones that can talk about barbecue.
You have opinions for sure.
Californians like to grill.
Yeah, we do like to grill. I will say that definitely not as good as the South, and I can't wait to tasted. So
So I'm like, having been in both areas, I purposely just wanted to get back to Texas just to eat barbecue. So Jean, I imagine that some of what Linda's saying in terms of like how people are thinking about their spaces, it really is, to me, when I look at these well-designed outdoor spaces that are reflections of the indoor, people are really looking to have almost a secondary version of their interior home, minus like the bedroom, I'd say was the only thing that they're looking to not have. So aside from the fact that you get to actually claim barbecue and smokers, when you're thinking about these outdoor spaces, are there pieces that are integral to making them work?
I think that one of the ways we try to make them seamless is we look for a consistency of material and quality from the indoors to the outdoors. So if you've got a panoramic window leading off into the outdoor space, we try to integrate the same, ceiling material if possible. Sometimes it's a wood ceiling, or if your outdoor area is right off of the kitchen, we try to keep what stone floor in the kitchen might be going outside. And then I think from, we are really into our barbecue and our grilling. So in addition to seeing true full-blown outdoor kitchens, I think there's a comparable quality kitchen being specified indoors now as outdoors. So I think that has been something that's a recent change. I would say not just in this last year, but over the last 5 years, people are really spending a lot more money on even the appliances that happen outside.
Yeah, which completely makes sense, considering, if you're spending a lot of money on your appliances inside, anything outside by its sheer nature of having to withstand the elements needs to be a little bit stronger and able to hold up. And so does the outdoor, so does your furniture, so does everything. Stephanie, I saw you nodding down there a lot and unmuting yourself. Would you like to weigh in on this topic, especially as somebody that does such amazing kitchens?
Oh yeah. Well, I agree. Like, we like to continue what we're doing in the adjacent rooms to the exterior, especially if you've spent the money to open up the views, and those spaces are so connected. But I think also people, they want their backyard to feel like a destination, like almost a vacation too. So, something worth inviting people over for an experience. Like, we've been doing walls to project movies on that have plants that only grow a certain height, so that they're not going to grow to conceal, the brick. Thinking about children's areas, trampoline, stuff like that, and how that relates to where the adults might be, like around a bonfire or whatever. I just think we all haven't had the opportunity to go many places, so we're making the best of what we have, and it's just been really fun to kind of dig in and explore some fun ideas.
So when
Carisha, sorry.
Go ahead, Jean.
The only other thing I was going to say is one of the things that I feel like recently we've encountered, especially with new construction, is it's typical for us to see, obviously an architect and a builder on board, and then generally we're the third person. But what we're seeing now a lot is the landscape designers hired from the very get-go, because I think that's really informing how you can live your best life outside as well. And that's nice to see.
Well, so in full disclosure, this group of very talented women is part of our whole home project that we're doing in Texas this year. And Linda is actually taking on our full outdoor space. And if you don't know Linda out there in the audience, she can't stop raising her hand. Actually, all three of you are this way. So Linda was asked to do the covered outdoor area. Then she was like, can I also help with the landscaping? Then she was like, also, can I take over the pool area? And I was like, what's happening? Not a
all like that.
Because it's important, and I want to show, just like how everyone is saying here, landscaping is really important with the outdoor, planting, that sort of thing. Landscape architecture, it's very important. And so I want to show that it's not just the furniture pieces that make the outdoor space, it's everything that comes together. So it's the types of plants, the heights and all that stuff, the color, and how it makes it just feel like a destination in your own home.
No, and that's what I love about this conversation is, you guys are talking about it as like a vacation, as a secondary, it's kind of a, as this addition to your home in a way that you get to be outside. I mean, Stephanie, even you mentioning, setting up this kind of movie screen outside and thinking about those plants that won't overwhelm the space. But when you're thinking about the furniture that's going outside and how that's going to live in a space where, if we're really being honest, not many of us are good at protecting our outdoor furniture.
Awful. Yeah.
We're awful at it. So, when you're thinking about, and listen, the same goes as, since we're talking about interiors and exteriors, there's a reason that certain brands have taken off, that performance fabrics have taken off in the last few years. It's because we want low maintenance, we want enjoyable, we also want beautiful. All those things have to come together. So when you're thinking about creating lounge seating for the outdoors, where you would want to hang out outside and watch movies, what are you thinking about in terms of materiality? What are you thinking about in terms of textiles?
I use a lot of polywood and I use a lot of resin. So all my outdoor wicker, and I try to be a purist where it makes sense. Like, I love historic everything, but I'm not going to cover my outdoor furniture. We have 4 kids. It just would be impractical. So all of our wicker, we are in the South, is all resin. And then all the Adirondack chairs and stuff like that are polywood. And I leave them out all through the winter and everything has been fine.
Yeah. And Jean, what about you? I mean, the extreme, well, I thought extreme temperatures in Texas only started at 70 and got higher until this past, year.
Sure.
But normally speaking, I imagine, have to think about materials different when you're thinking about superheated desert climates, high humidity. How do you go about selecting things that can at least last if they're not going to be taken care of by the homeowners?
I will say that we're probably a little bit on the opposite side of that. And I think it has everything to do with really the extreme climates that Texas has proven it can have, especially this last year. I would say the majority of my clients will not let us specify something for them unless it comes with a cover. So I think that by and large, either we have really anal clients or they're really diligent about covering their furniture. I think we also run into issues, especially when we're working in high rises, which we seem to be doing quite a bit as well, of worrying about things flying off the balcony or moving. So we're constantly looking at how much something weighs. And then in terms of maintenance, I think we would be well served if somebody could invent a fabric that squirrels didn't want to eat or chew up. That seems to be the perpetual frustration or point of maintenance. So I'm not kidding. I mean, every year it's a new set of cushions. So
that's okay. That's good to know. Yes. And for any manufacturers out there,
yes, we've tried, Carisha.
This is the test. But yeah, I can imagine. Listen, I think everybody gets the covers for their furniture. I just don't know if they put the covers on there. That's definitely the thing. Linda, kind of same question to you, because you're obviously in a place that gets a ton of, as you said, all that sunshine, except for when I'm in town. And so any furniture you're putting out there, whether it's fabric or material, is going to, if it's not built the right way, is going to fade, could potentially warp. It could, basically everything that you loved about it, let's say in the showroom, could change. So how do you make sure that you're getting things that can handle the region that you're placing them in?
Yeah, so one thing that I definitely think about first before actually placing in furniture is where maybe I could do some built-ins to help out with that. So then that way it'll ground it, and maybe actually putting storage in the built-ins. And then those built-ins are maybe some of the materials used, such as maybe concrete or Trex, or just using even limestone or boulder. So then that will help out. And then figuring out other furniture pieces that are outdoor that will withstand that. And then with fabrics, using stuff like perennials, that is very known for outdoor fabrics. Just different specifically for outdoor, like Sunbrella, is very important. And so I'll go through that. And then we'll discuss covers, because I like, the same, basically trying not to have covers because they get annoying, and then, people get lazy and then they don't want to use it. And so I really try to spec out pieces where they can withstand the time. So then that way they don't have to always worry about putting a cover over it.
Yeah. No, I definitely get that. And Jean, I'm very impressed by your clients. I think they might have somebody that does it for them.
In fairness, I doubt they're the ones out there putting on and removing the covers.
I don't think they're either. I don't think
If
they
it
are
makes you feel better, we don't cover our furniture. We just kind of go, it is what it is. So.
Right, exactly. Because again, I mean, we're all looking for a low maintenance lifestyle. It's beautiful, but low maintenance. And so whatever that means in terms of the way we live, though I will say, you know, again, being a new resident of North Carolina, I didn't realize every time I went outside to sit, I needed to wipe down the pollen. So that is new for me and
Yes.
less than fun.
Yeah. Not great for your allergies either.
No, thankfully I don't have any yet. So when you guys are thinking about these outdoor spaces, and I want to go back to that word that you used, Linda, about these zones, you know, so you're thinking about the kid zone, or even Stephanie, you're thinking about like the entertainment zone. How are you planning out those spaces so that they feel connected? Because if you have these big, you know, kind of windows leading out, these floor to ceiling windows that kind of go into the wall, and you want the rooms to still feel like they have a place together. But then so many people have a tendency, if they don't have you fabulous ladies, to just go and do like the matchy. I'm going to buy the whole set and put it outside and call it a day and it's done. So, you know, when you're thinking about fabrics that are going to connect that indoors to that outdoors, or shapes that are going to connect the indoors to the outdoors, what are the things that you're thinking about? And maybe I'll throw that at Stephanie first.
Yeah. So I do fairly traditional interiors. So most of my outdoor furniture pulls from traditional shapes and body styles. So again, you know, we do Adirondack chairs a ton. We do various styles of wicker furniture a ton. And then just continuing the palette we like from the interior. So a lot of blues and greens. And I try to be my most, like my hardest client. And I know like white furniture is very chic and beautiful outdoors, but again, my clients are not going to bleach it and keep it clean. So we honestly do more color and pattern on our exterior upholstery to try to keep it low maintenance and hide stuff.
Does that seem familiar, ladies?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm the same, you know, try to pull in from the interiors, some of that, but I do more contemporary. However, I think it's interesting for me with the outdoor, I will do a little bit more pattern and more color. Also because of the planting. So if a client has more of a muted color palette inside, then I try to bring something, a little bit of a splash on the outside that will complement the inside.
Yeah. And Jean, I saw you nodding as well.
Same. I mean, I think we always look for a resonance in terms of design and pattern and scale as we move from indoors to out. I will say that these things definitely come into play when we're talking about cushions. And if I am working with a client who really understands and means that they want low maintenance or no maintenance, we will then look to try and use pieces of outdoor furniture that don't require cushions. So, you know, it may not be as beautiful, if you will, but you know, things like slings are really great for low maintenance. Or there is a product that uses reticulated foam, so all of the cushions actually underneath the I've used it in a woven material. It's underneath the weave, and you literally just walk away from it. You don't have to worry about cushions, but that's for a specific set of folks.
Yeah, right. That,
for sure.
Well, I mean, is anybody coming to you guys saying I'm high maintenance? Like,
yeah, definitely. You'd be surprised.
Fair. Okay, that's fair. So when you're, you know, is there a difference when you're thinking, because I've again seen all of your interior spaces and the work that you've done, and there is such a level of sophistication to the interiors, but the exteriors tend to just naturally lend themselves to a more relaxed vibe. Is there a way to connect the two? And I know, Stephanie, you were talking about colors, but I still have to imagine that there's some element of just kind of relaxation outdoors, especially when you're talking about creating a media room or anything like that outside.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think there's like formal feeling exteriors and relaxed. So I think that has a lot to do with the plantings and the style that the plantings. I love an English garden and something that's very flowy and relaxing. But then I also love like the hedges of boxwood with the hydrangea pouring over it, you know. So I'm in awe of landscape designers. That is I think it has to be one of the hardest creative professions, because you don't just install and it's there, you know, it's like got to grow. But Wait, what was your, what was your question?
Wait, what I love is Stephanie just like went into like happy land when she was thinking about beautiful things, and she
I was feeling it. I was outside in my head. I was just,
She's already on vacation mode.
yeah, you totally left us there. That's totally fine. What we were talking about was just like how you go about creating, like taking such a formal interior, or what can feel like a more formal interior, and interpreting that into an outside space that just by its very nature tends to be more casual. And that's when you started walking through gardens, which is totally fine.
yeah, I lean to the landscape architect heavily on exterior design. That's the only way to do it. So yeah, I would think the furnishings stay somewhat the same style in my projects, but it's the style of the way the landscape flows, formal maybe towards the house. And as you get out further to a fire pit or whatever, it's more casual and loose.
And all of you kind of mentioned the family element, right? So again, with us being at home, you got a lot of youngsters there. You want a little bit of that sophistication outside, but there also needs to be an element of play and fun. And quite frankly, as adults, we want the play and fun too. So Jean, I don't know if your clients are asking for that, or are they asking for elements of fun outside?
Oh yeah, for sure. I had one client come to me 2 years ago, and the kids were at an age where they were picking up golf, and he decided that he was going to allocate part of his backyard to, putt-putt.
Yeah.
So we literally carved out a part of the yard, and it was not backyard, and it was not a large backyard. And they sure enough are out there playing every single night. So I think fun is definitely something that they bring to us. They'll come to us and say, this is what we want to do. And, then it's up to us to kind of figure out how best to work it into a program. And Linda, like you said, how do we create the zone that's appropriate for what they're asking?
Right. And I know, Linda, you've had the same experience in California, where I don't even know, are people inside their houses at all in California? Are they just outside all the time?
Yeah, they're outside all the time. So,
Yeah.
It's definitely important to definitely have that fun element. A few years ago, I had to put a ping pong table, but also the ping pong table had to be another game zone for the kids to do other things there. So, California, that's the living, I'm from the East Coast. That's why, when I came here, I was like, this is great. You can be outdoors all the time. And literally in California, everyone's outside all the time. So,
Yeah.
So it's a big important thing.
And so I want to go back to this element of like the weight of furniture too, because, you guys all obviously have to specify furniture from a number of different places. Are there, especially, when you think about High Point and coming down to market, are there places that, are your go-tos? I know you mentioned perennials before, but just places that, if you go to, you're going to be able to find those things that are going to work for that client, or for for the design that you have in your head. And I guess I'll throw that at, yeah, go ahead, Linda.
Oh, sorry. For me, I definitely love, certain brands that I know for sure that will do great with outdoors, such as like Tedeli, Sutherland, James Purse. They have great furniture pieces that will also be very weighted, but also fun at the same time. So, I look at those places and, make sure of how the furniture pieces are quality wise. And then, I haven't had that much wind situation, so I'm interested to see how it will be in Texas. But, it is important, especially in the beach areas, definitely in the South Bay where I have a lot of projects. They do get some wind there, so it is important.
And you get all that salt too, that just erodes the world.
Yeah.
Jean, you mentioned before the things flying off the balcony or wanting to make sure they don't. Are there companies or brands that you look to?
Definitely. I don't know if it's kosher to say, but I challenge you guys to find a heavier piece of furniture than Iron by Woodard. So it's a pain in the butt to move if you ever need to scoot it around. But, I think in terms of outside of the brand, that material itself really lends itself to being really strong and sturdy. Now, you do battle what happens to it over time with potential rusting. And if you're especially on a coast with a lot of salt water, it's going to have a shorter life. I think when we walk market, brands aside, we try to work with people that we feel like will have a strong warranty and are really communicative about exactly what and how this furniture is going to perform. I mean, be honest, tell us it's not going to last, we're not going to be upset. So we look to work with people who can talk to us based on their experience and knowledge.
Yeah, that completely makes sense. And Stephanie, what about for you? Are you still in the garden?
I'm ready to move to California. Linda's like sold me. I'm like, I'm gonna look at real estate after this.
Come to Cali, come on.
Yeah, I know. I'm like outside all the time. Like yeah. So yeah, all the same. We use a lot of summer classics. Janice at see however you say that.
Yeah.
We love them. But yeah, in the South, I mean, we're out. I mean, people like pretty small scale. Like I had one project in Manhattan where the daybed flew off the balcony.
Oh gosh!
I thought my career was over before it started, so I haven't done any high rises since.
I mean, it is nerve-wracking when we get a really big storm and it's windy. I'm laying in bed going, "Oh my God, do I need to call them?"
Yeah, that's a little scary. Linda, I think, you mentioned this, that when sometimes you do actual built-in, so you're not sourcing furniture necessarily, maybe you're obviously sourcing some furniture, but you're more likely in that instance to have probably custom cushions made with whoever's fabric that you love, perennials or whoever. When you're doing that, are there different things that you have to think about in terms of having those cushions created?
There are different things to think about because basically, I'm using more natural elements when I do the built-ins. And so, this just happened. We did a built-in a while ago, and then we were starting to do the cushions. And so how things finish off compared to, let's say, a furniture is a little bit different because it's not going to be as perfect, so to speak. So, the back of the built-in was a little bit shorter than the actual seating, which we had to do because of how we created this planter wall. And so, the question was, should the seat be as long as a seat or stop here and that sort of thing? So it's slightly different than furniture. And we figured it out and it came out great. And we had it extend to the whole full of the seat. But, it is a little bit different thinking in terms of fabric and cushions and making custom things on the outdoor area.
Yeah, no, that completely makes sense to me. And even when I think about, like, on the one hand, you're talking about built-ins, Stephanie, just because I know, again, all of you guys create great kitchens. So this is kind of like, but Stephanie, because I tapped you to create our kitchen and test when you're thinking about kind of connecting that space, which is a key space in most people's homes for reaching outside, and you're looking at counter stools or bar stools or whatever, and thinking about the sort of furniture that's going to make sense there, the sort of fabrics that are going to make sense there, are there different things that you have to consider than you consider when you're thinking about the interior version of that space?
Yes. So as we discussed with other pieces of furniture, like we've pulled or specified a lot of woven seats, a lot of teak. We try to make it as durable. I mean, most of my clients have children, so I feel like we're always thinking about durability, a lot of powder coated steel type stuff. But outdoor kitchens are so much fun because we all have like lanterns above our island on the interior that are powered with electricity, and it's like you can use candlelight, you can use all these fun like romantic things and not even like romantic, but just like movie stuff that you
string
can
lights,
right? Like that. I'm not being mushy, not that kind of romantic, but it's just so fun to kind of think through what we do on the interior and explore that on the exterior.
I think that's great. And it's funny, we're closing up our outdoor issue, which is why this is such a great conversation for me to be having. And Made Goods just launched this new set of lighting that is kind of this woven kind of resin that looks like a bird cage, but it's so beautiful. It comes in 3 different finishes and it's a plug-in. And I was like, anybody has access to this. Like, you don't have to have it hardwired. Yeah, it's so smart. You don't have to have it hardwired. I feel like aside from the things we're saying, that there's a flexibility that people want in their outdoor space. It could be modular furniture. It could be furniture that can do more. To your point, to everybody's point about the ease of low maintenance, all of that goes into, I think, what people think about when you're thinking about outdoors. And even the advent, when I say modular, it's modular furniture. Yes, it's also now modular outdoor kitchens. So, it's really interesting to see the way people are thinking and how brands are thinking about furniture for the outdoors and accessories for the outdoors now too. And even brands that maybe traditionally didn't play in the landscaping space have beautiful planters now for outdoors. So, you can really have a good time. Okay, we already have Jean's answer on this, so I may come back to her last since we just know she doesn't want critters eating things. But but
Yeah, I'm not down with critters.
Yeah, I'll start with Linda. Where do you want to see this kind of product category for the outdoors go next? Is there something out there that doesn't exist that you want to see come?
Like you said, I want to see more accessories that play into how the indoors are to the outdoors. They are starting to get better planters. They're starting to, do better things with lighting. Like, I want to see better lighting for the outdoor. I think when they do lighting for the outdoor, they just think of the house and the exterior, and that's it. And that's going to go in the house. But they need to start thinking in terms of like, yeah, I want to put a chandelier out here. Why not? But I can't really find a really good, fabulous big chandelier to put out here because they're not thinking of stuff like that. And to Stephanie's point too, lighting and all those little things make that mood. And because, it's not just daytime that people are hanging out outside, it's also nighttime. And so the nighttime is, the time for entertaining and hanging out. And that is really important in how you put things there. And so that's what I would like to see: more, better outdoor lighting, more accessories. And it's getting there, but I want it to be faster. So.
And it's interesting that you say that, because you jogged my memory about something Barclay Butera told me maybe 2 years ago, which was, he was like, I need more and bigger outdoor rugs. Like, he's like, he's like, people's outdoor spaces are getting so huge. I need better, bigger outdoor rugs. So yeah. Okay, Stephanie, anything for you?
Yes, I have a lot. I'll go quick. More fully upholstered sofas that are better, more intricately designed. Like, we got the white slipcover. Like, I want to see like the details and the scallops and all that kind of stuff be an option, or pleated skirts. Fans that are just like simple, classic outdoor fans with no bells and whistles. And then fun umbrellas. Like, we got some stripes. I want more options of like fringe and scallops, and we love some sunshade in the South, and I think that could be a fun. And then outdoor counter stools. I have a lot.
I think Jean actually might be taking notes for her own company. Jean.
I am.
Jean, what would you like to see, or what are you going to create?
I think we've got our design studio we've been thinking a lot about wanting or looking for better looking in-pool furniture. So I had a client come to me earlier this year, and they installed a pool, and they really wanted chairs, lounge chairs in the pool. And when we started looking for something that was in the same vein as the rest of the house, we were coming up really short. Mm-hmm. Everything was either, no offense, pretty ugly, or it felt like South Beach, Miami, which was not the style of this home. So I think that that's really an area where there's room for improvement. And yeah, I'd love to see more options there.
I love that, especially because I don't think any one of us, anybody watching, you guys, we all know that everybody's trying to put a pool in. And if you are somebody that puts pools in, you're making a lot of money this year. And you're probably booked through till 2022. So, to think about that space and how people design that space and the furniture that goes around it that can handle chlorine, right? That can handle kind of the things that naturally come out of a pool are a big deal. So that's pretty great. All right, we have like 1,000 questions to get to. So I'm going to take us over to the Q&A so that you guys can answer some questions. So I'm going to start with Linda. Linda, do you feel in the zones, do you construct and consider fire pits as a hearth, like as a fireplace or a kitchen area? So do you add in fire pits?
I do try to add in a fire pit somewhere, and or a fireplace, but definitely a fire pit, because that's more like kind of like the conversational area where people like to hang out. Like in the kitchen, they like to hang out on the island, and the fire pit is like the conversational area when it comes to the outdoors. So I do try to put a fire pit if I can, and if you can't get a gas up there, then I will try to get a mobile one, because then that's easy to create a different zone somewhere else if you wanted to.
Okay, destination homes. Can landscape designers / architects be vital in destination exterior design? So, you know, my second home, my third home, I'm lucky just to have one home, so I'm just going to stay where I am. But for these lovely people with all the extra homes, can landscape designers, architects be vital to those kind of designs as well? Or are they?
Yeah.
I think they're always vital to a strong end product. First, second, third, or fifth.
Yeah.
One of the people in the audience said she loves, or he loves, I'm not sure, wrought iron garden furniture. Is this on or off trend? I feel like, Stephanie, I might throw this at you since you're the traditionalist amongst us.
It's on. It's always on.
Oh, it's always on. Okay.
I think, yeah, it's like hardwood floors. It doesn't go out of style. Wrought iron, like maybe fake wrought iron, but real wrought iron furniture doesn't go out of style. I don't think.
It's gonna outlive us all. Right? I mean, I agree with that. And I also think there is a way, to me, when I look at red iron furniture, a lot of times maybe it's the curvature that makes you think that it goes in a different direction, but changing up the cushions and the fabric that's on the cushions can change the whole look of it. So yeah. All right. So I hope you keep your wrought iron furniture. Don't get rid of it. Plus, you know, even if it was out of trend, it'd be back in trend in like 2 years. So don't get rid of your stuff. Let's see. Are you thinking of sustainability in your design? So who should I throw that at? Anybody want to raise their hand about how you kind of incorporate sustainable measures into the design you're doing?
Yeah, I mean,
Sure.
sustainability is always important, especially for the outdoors, because, you know, like we've said with all the furniture and that sort of thing, you know, when I have clients, it's very important the materials that I pick, because I don't want the chair or the piece to be like, you know, gone in 2 years because of we didn't think this through. So sustainability is very important, and all the materials, even when doing, you know, a built-in barbecue, that sort of thing, the countertops, that's also very important, because that's very different than how you do an interior, you know, countertops and kitchens and so forth. So it's really important. So we want it to last.
Yeah. And you want it to be good for the earth. And I will say that these days it is pretty easy to find companies that are putting their best like planet forward foot first. So if that is important to you, if you're thinking about those sort of things, there are places to look and see which sort of brands that create outdoor materials or outdoor furniture are aligned with that. So you know, so just keep that in mind. Sorry, I don't have your names here. They're sending me the Q&As. Otherwise, I'd address you directly. In your experience, what percentage of a client's budget is allocated to their outdoor space? And I would just like to say, even though I used to work for Veranda, that, and I'm getting a patio extended in the back, I still was like, what number did you just tell me? So I love this question. So, you know, when you're approaching a house and you're talking about interiors and they pull you into the exterior first, I'll add to that question. When people are hiring you, are they thinking about both spaces first? Or do they just say, let's do the interior, and then in a couple of years, we're going to do the outdoor? Jean says no. So everything's all together, right?
Yes.
So, okay. So when you're thinking, Jean, about when you're talking to a client, what percentage is going towards the outdoor budget?
I think it obviously is a function of how large the outdoor space is, but I would say from a furnishing standpoint, you know, our outdoor areas can be 15 to 20% of someone's overall interiors budget. Now, that that question I would ask back to the person who posed it, do you mean from a construction standpoint as well? Because that obviously throws a whole nother dimension into it. But at least from a furnishing standpoint, good quality outdoor furniture that's going to last you multiple seasons is not cheap. So
I agree. I said we are going to extend our deck, and next year we should be able to have some money to buy furniture to put on it. But both will not be happening in the same year. So there is the construction piece, and then there is the furniture piece. Other than Sunbrella, what other fabrics do you work with, recommend for quality and sustainability? And again, I heard perennials. Any other brands that you guys like for outdoor?
I think these might be to a consumer branded differently, but I think, obviously Sunbrella and Perennials have done an incredibly good job branding themselves, but I think it's more important to look for the material that makes up the outdoor fabric. So we are big believers in 100% solution dyed acrylic. So that is what's going to give you long lasting color and wearability and durability. And I think that as long as you can look for that as the makeup or the construction of the fabric, you're in good shape regardless of the brand.
And I can't remember the makeup of this, but to the person that asked that question, I know, for instance, Tebow works with Inside Out.
Yep.
So I know there are a few companies that have come onto the horizon over the last couple of years, and I think that will continue to grow as well. But what you said, Jean, is right. It's really, you got to look at like what the thing is, what the
Yes.
material is, to understand how it's going to actually live outside. Does anyone on here design with pergolas and arbors?
Yes, I do.
I do. Oh,
So you
It's
both,
that critter thing.
well, Stephanie does because she's in an English garden. So, but what I love is that Linda, you being contemporary, and Stephanie, you being more traditional, you're both doing it. So do they, you may not know if they feel the same, but Linda, when you're designing with it, what is it being used for? And is it more of a contemporary design?
Yeah, mine is definitely more of a contemporary design and more sleek, and it's to help actually block out the sun since we have so much sun here all the time.
Yeah.
So I just did one recently where we did 4 pergolas in a row, and it's very sleek and modern. And then we basically did custom sails over the areas. So then that way they can do, we're going to start putting furnishing in there and do dining, but it's really important to help also with, at least here, the shade portion. And then it starts making it feel like a room as well, having something over top. And then trying to think about lighting and that sort of thing to make it feel like another room.
Yeah. And Stephanie, I imagine it's kind of the same, except yours is probably maybe made of teak or maybe white.
yeah, or cedar. The one thing I'm always arguing specifically this spring is like, I want wisteria on the base of it, or I want, something that's going to climb. And everyone's kind of obsessed with things lasting forever and not doing any maintenance. And I'm like, it's an outdoor space, like there needs to be. So I'm always like, put the wisteria in, it will last. Like, anyway.
No, I get that. And it's funny, I have to reference my own mother here, who doesn't believe in things having a patina. She's like, the way I buy it is the way I want it to look. And I'm like, so you need to stay away from copper and you need to stay away from teak. Because she is also a low maintenance girl. So she is not going to spend time doing all the things you would need to do to either one of those to keep it the way that she would want it. Great question here. Besides seating, what is one outdoor furnishing piece that your space shouldn't go without?
A properly sized outdoor rug.
Great. I feel like I can for everybody. Linda?
Yep, I agree. A properly sized outdoor rug.
Yeah.
I don't know, people
Stephanie?
aren't getting it right, so it's really weird.
So is everybody on the rug bandwagon? All right. So see, it goes back to that rug thing. Okay. I feel like this maybe is more a Jean or Linda question. What kind of smart technology is being requested for outside spaces?
Oh, do you want to go, Linda?
Yeah. So a lot of the things that are being requested comes to do with like lighting and speakers for music. And then, to say like what Stephanie said for movies. And then if we're going to the pool area, also carrying the music and sound in the pool, which is pretty cool, that sort of thing. So that's a lot of the technology that I'm starting to see. And then also, barbecues and grills are really becoming, you know, the Rolls Royces, and they are really hyping up a lot of the things that you can really do with them. So it's becoming very cool.
Yeah.
We finished a project probably 2 years ago, and I think we were it was a eye-opening experience, just how many things you can actually automate even in an outdoor space. And this client had elected to be able to automate the colors of the light in their pool. And then even like heating the pool, changing the temperature, all from the phone.
Yeah.
So
That's pretty amazing that you can do
Yeah.
that. Also feels very expensive to just change the temperature of an entire pool.
I felt it was definitely, their budget for outdoors was definitely beyond the 15 to 20% I mentioned. So.
Do most clients install outdoor heating, to this question, including in ceilings or freestanding? So, you know, kind of think like restaurants versus, so are most clients doing that now?
Yes.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think in Dallas, we witnessed people trying to do whatever they could to prolong the outdoor season. So as hot as it did get pretty cold here. So people were buying the outdoor heaters that you would see at a restaurant. And we know people who got solo stoves at Christmas. It was a popular gift so that they could continue to stay outside even in December.
Yeah, nobody wanted to be inside. It was also, I mean, let's be honest, over the past year, that's the only place you could be comfortably. So,
Exactly.
you know, extending that outdoor felt like the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Suzette Bannister has a question. Hi, Suzette. I finally have somebody's name. She said she has a new build that is considering options for enclosures for a screen porch, so it can be a true 4-season. Any opinions on using easy breeze windows or phantom screens that also have the clear vinyl walls that can be raised and lowered throughout the year? And then other options for heating and cooling the space. It will have a fireplace, she says. So let's start with other options for kind of enclosing it.
The vinyl walls are very popular in the South with pollen and just keeping the space ready to use and don't feel like you have to hose it down in between each. That's all I know about those.
About that, yeah. Linda, you don't. Oh, go ahead.
We do a lot of phantom screens, but I also have seen clients who are now using a lot of accordion doors.
Oh,
I don't know if that helps.
so like the big glass accordion doors?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think everybody knows what those are. The only thing I always, you know, with those, you have to have like a big track.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a big something to look at. You can't not notice it.
Yeah, you can't not notice it. And you also, I found, have to really pay attention to your furniture placement outside or well, it's probably going to go one way or the other, but if it's outside, you're taking away a little bit of floor space from that.
Yeah.
And if it's inside, which I don't really think it ever is, but I guess it could be placed that way. Same story. So I like the ones that collapse.
Yes.
I also like the ones that are automated because it's very heavy. Okay, let's see. What is your, this is a great question that I feel like could go on for another hour. What is your vision of the ideal client? And also what would be your dream project? So everybody smiles. Somebody that's quiet and has a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yes, all the time to all my great ideas. Linda, what's your ideal client?
My ideal client would obviously have a good budget to allow me to create and trust me. You know, as designers, we have to come in and we get very intimate. And so, you know, they have to really trust what I'm doing and the vision, and I'm there for them, and I'm going to make it spectacular beyond their wildest dreams. And so if they just let me go and just say yes, and that's it, I mean, they're going to get an amazing space and they're going to be blown out of the water.
I love all that. See, smiles and nodding and money. I got it.
Pretty easy, right?
Really easy. I think I know we can go a little bit over time, but not too far. Are there new big trends for outdoor spaces that you guys are seeing and excited about?
I think it's just like the year-roundness of it that we see, or just its priority in someone's programming. Whereas, It's like one of the first things we talk about now.
Right.
That didn't used to be the case.
Yeah.
That's true. And the trends that I'm starting to see is, especially with the grill and the barbecue area, is that at least the counters and everything, they're really starting to think about how, when you design a kitchen, how it can be like an actual kitchen. Because normally with outdoors, it's either concrete or you just put a slab on top.
Right.
But, you know, with indoors, a kitchen, you can do all these great little details on the counters, which isn't the norm for outdoor. And
Yeah.
so I'm starting to see that start to translate to the outdoor kitchen eating area.
And then I think this is a great question too. What about mixing outdoor materials? Any rules to follow? Can you mix teak and wicker, wrought iron, wood swing beds with wicker swivels, teak tables with wicker swivels? Diana, I know you're not asking me this question, but as an editor, I'm going to tell you, please, yes. Like I said earlier, do not buy the set, but I am going to throw it to our designers and not be the one to answer your question. Stephanie, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, I think what you said is right answer. So mix and match, and I think we all need to chill in the South on the daybed swings. We're going like there's a lot of those, and they take over your entire space. But yeah, mix and match.
Yeah, yeah. I love to walk into an outdoor space and have it feel like a collected space, just like the indoors. I think that's what makes it special. It's easy to buy a set, but it's more fun and more interesting to look at the collection of things that all play together. And then I think maybe this is one of our final questions. Just like how you guys use umbrellas outside. I know that kind of came up a little bit earlier, that you want better, more fun umbrellas outside, but are you strictly using them over dining tables, or are you using them everywhere?
I think it's a shade-driven question. So whether you're lounging or dining, I think an umbrella is appropriate anywhere you feel like you're going to spend enough time where you want enough shade coverage to enjoy what you happen to be doing. So.
And Darcel, I see you, and I'm going to make sure I ask this question. Are you ladies aware of She Built, the all-female design constructed house in Utah? And how would you design an outdoor environment in Utah? Have you guys all been to Utah?
Yes, but I'm not aware of She Built.
You're not aware.
I will be Googling it right after this, though.
Yeah, me too.
I will as well. It looks like they're going to be doing something June 9th through the 18th up there. But I will say I did go to Utah to do some filming up there, and the way people's homes are filled out, especially the kitchens with kind of just so much space, and these pantries that can hold the world. And they really can. And they also really appreciate their outdoor spaces. So, but we'll definitely have to check that out. And then I think we answered this question already. So I think we are good. And I want to thank our fantastic group of designers for being here with me. I can't wait to see you guys in Texas. I want to thank all of our audience members for all of those great questions. I think I got to all of them. You guys are amazing. And I'm going to throw it back over to Ashley, but I will see you all three in Texas in a few months in the middle of July for Whole Home. And that will be in our October-November issue to everybody out there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies. That was so good, so informative.
Thank
you for your time. Real quick, let me share my screen again so everybody listening and watching can get contact information for all these ladies. Be sure to follow them, reach out to them if you have any other questions, and find out what they're doing. Also, if you had fun today, we hope you'll join us for our next session. It's coming up on May 11th. It is connecting with Burke Morley of Purple. I don't know if you're aware of their marketing success, but really interesting brand, great success in the digital marketing area. And our partner, Home Furnishings Association, Mark Schumacher, is going to be really talking with Burke about how they were successful in that, tips and tricks and all of that in terms of digital marketing. So be sure to check them out. And if you are coming to Spring Market June 5th through the 9th, we are also focusing on outdoor furnishings. We have a really cool space we just announced earlier this week called Design Oasis. We have 4 design teams that will be creating outdoor design vignettes. It's going to be in the center stage area where we typically have our concerts. It's an outdoor seating area for anybody to use at all during market. Come meet the designers on Saturday and Sunday at market at noon, and enjoy food trucks every day during lunch in that area. So we hope you can do it. Check out the website, highpointmarket.org. And that is it. Thank you for joining us all today. We're super happy to have you here. Take care.
Thank
Bye.
you. See you at High
Bye.
Point.